I don't want to give up dessert. I just don't. My sweet tooth will not retire. Because in the grand scheme of things, life is short, dessert is sweet, and I refuse to surrender. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Darnell Cox. I am a 57-year-old gerontologist. I've been a health coach for over 15 years. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, went back to school in my 50s, and got a second master's in gerontology at USC. So I study aging. That's what I do. I help you live longer and healthier. But I also eat cookies. I also love to eat pie. And for those of you who think like I'm going to give up on my sweet tooth, don't know my lifelong commitment to it, right? Like I grew up on a farm where we in a mason jar, we made, preserves, strawberry preserves and jams and jellies. And I make 15 pies for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. That's what I do. So as a health coach, yeah, we have to talk about, the whole health scheme of it. In every drama that has to do with metabolism, sugar is the devil, right? But oh my God, could you imagine? I can't imagine going to a movie and not being able to indulge in a giant bucket of popcorn with peanut M&Ms. That changes my whole experience of going to the movies. And life is short, and sometimes it calls for cake. It just does. So I wanted to talk about today, I'm going to be very briefly on here, we're going to talk about weight loss supplements and how I maintain a fasting blood glucose level of 79. That is about as good as it gets, folks. 79 fasting blood glucose level for somebody that eats cookies and ice cream and a lot of other stuff. Now listen, that's not all I eat, obviously. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I do intermittent fasting. I've been intermittent fasting for 30 plus years. So I started that in my 20s, now at 57. So that's a long time to be doing that. In addition, when I break my fast, I break it with a mushroom coffee. So I'm getting in that good stuff for me, and all the vegetables I can eat. My lunch consists of predominantly plant-based. I don't worry about how much protein I'm going to get, because if you are eating real food, you are getting enough protein. I'm getting enough protein to build muscle on a predominantly plant-based diet. That said, when it comes to dinner, I eat a normal dinner. I snack on nuts and seeds like a bird all day long after my lunch. So I'm plant-based all the way through dinner, up to dinner. And dinner, I have a normal dinner. It could be chicken, it could be fish, it could be, last night I had goulash. If somebody cooks something for me, all bets are off. If somebody takes the time to cook something and I go to their house, I'm going to eat it. I'm not going to be that person that says, oh, I don't know. I'm a health coach. No, I'm going to eat it. If there's birthday cake, I'm eating it. So I love my desserts, but I do it in a very strategic way. So I want to introduce you to a brand new product that I just launched today. It is called Sugar Sponge. Yeah, it does exactly what you think it would do. Let me tell you a little bit about this. It's a Swedish product that I sourced with my vitamin expert, Matt Major. Next Saturday at 12 o'clock, Matt Major is going to be on the show with me, and we're going to be talking about metabolic health, along with the 6 different products that I have in the Live Young Healthy Weight Management line. Today, we're going to talk about Sugar Sponge, and then I'm going to briefly go through the other 6. So Sugar Sponge, let me tell you what this is. It's non-systemic. What does that mean? It means that it does not go or affect the rest of your body, does not go through your bloodstream or anything like that. This is what it looks like. It's a pill. But it's more like a tool than a supplement. So let me tell you how it works. I'm going to put it back up here so you guys can kind of see it. Everything in the whole Live Young line is 15% off with the code Labor Day 15. You can comment the word supplements when I post this to my main feed. I am posting this to my main feed today. Comment the word supplements. You'll get a link to that sale. Everything is 15% off, okay? But let me tell you a little bit about Sugar Sponge. What it does is it traps 2 different enzymes, digestive enzymes. It's shaped, it's like a silica kind of body that has these little pores in it. And it's shaped exactly like a lock and key for two key digestive enzymes, amylase, which breaks down carbohydrates, and lipase, which breaks down fats. So what does this do? It traps those digestive enzymes so that your carbs that you just ate, or that ice cream you just ate, or those cookies that you just ate, don't get digested in the first 1/3 or 3 inches of that digestive tract, which normally what would happen. Anytime you have a smoothie, smoothies are pretty much the worst thing that you can have in terms of metabolic health. But anytime that you're having a smoothie, or you're having cookies, or you're having anything like that, that is fast food, right? Your body sucks that into that, it turns that into glucose really quickly, and it hits the bloodstream very quick, which makes it a lot more likely to be stored as fat. What this does is you can eat that same exact type of thing that would be considered fast food, which is highly processed food. And by trapping those two enzymes early in the stage, so when you first take that first bite, this is how I use it. Let's say last night I got kettle corn from Farmer's Market, and that is like, that's one of my vices is kettle corn. I love it, the sweet and salty part of it. Right when I start eating it, I eat a bite first. So I already know that I'm stimulating those enzymes, right? To come and digest that fat and digest those carbs. Then I'll take 2 of these. And what it does, it's like a lock and key that then it fits perfectly for those 2 enzymes, amylase and lipase. And so what it does is it doesn't give you the right enzymes until later on in the digestive tract. So what would have been absorbed into the bloodstream right off the bat gets to move further down the digestive tract, which slows down the way the sugar hits your bloodstream, making it far less likely to cause metabolic distress and far less likely to be stored as fat. So you can have your cake and eat it too. I just do it in a very strategic way. So it moderates your post-meal sugar spikes. And you can see this if you use a tracker. If you were to have some cookies and not take this, you'll see that it would spike your blood glucose level. And remember, we want to stay in between 79 and 140. Anytime that your fasting blood glucose level is over 90, you're already in metabolic distress, okay? You want it to stay even post when you are eating something, that post spike, when it goes up and it goes down. You want to stay in that range of 79 to like 79 to 90. That is like ideal, right? So you want to kind of flatten that curve. This helps you do that. Yeah, Ravenous, it is genius. It really is genius. So it moderates post-meal sugar spikes. It gives you a more stable energy level and prolonged satiety. So you're not going to have that big spike and then the big crash where then all of a sudden you're reaching for everything in sight, right? It's not going to do that. It reduces your caloric absorption. And remember, it's non-systemic. It doesn't go through your whole body. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't affect your brain, doesn't affect your blood, doesn't go through any of that. It is a tool that passes through your digestive tract that slows down the way fats and carbohydrates are absorbed into the body. And it works, I kind of think of it like a cheese slicer. It slices off a little bit of those carbs, a little bit of that sugar, a little bit of those fats, so that you are reducing slightly your caloric intake. And when you're doing that over time, like if you give up that Starbucks 900 calorie coffee drink that is basically sugar, or you're giving up like one little thing that you're doing, over time how that chisels away at your weight. The same thing is true for Sugar Sponge. It chisels away little bits of calories, little bits of sugar, so that you're not getting that big spike. It doesn't get rid of them entirely, but it's like you're eating a lot less of it, if that makes sense. And it's not going into your bloodstream that as quickly as if you didn't take something like this. So it does reduce caloric absorption. And guess what happens to the remainder of the stuff when it's going down your it's going down your digestive tract, and you've slowed down the way that the enzymes are available to digest that. It's going further down your digestive tract, what is not digested becomes like fermented in your colon that works great for your gut microbiome, and you poop out the rest. I know. It's crazy, but it's true. It is true. So yeah, it's like just chiseling away at those little types of fats and carbohydrates. So what I do when I take this, like last night, I took a couple bites of my kettle corn, which I love. I took 2 of these, and because when I'm taking the kettle corn, if you take this first, it's not going to work as great. This is something that you take after you've been eating. So you slip and fall into like a tub of ice cream. It happens. It happens, you guys. But let's say that happens. I would immediately take this, which then acts as that lock and key, and that those enzymes that that break down those fats and those carbs fit into this spore-like thing, so that you're not being able to break it down right at the beginning of your digestive tract. When that happens, anytime that you have a smoothie or you're having like any sort of processed food, that is considered fast food. Within the first inch of your digestive tract, it's already trying to turn to glucose and go through your, through the intestinal lining and get into your bloodstream. When that happens, that's fast. Boom, your sugar spikes up, right? Then it's okay, insulin gets released, and you try to like compartmentalize all that sugar and put it in, usually it's stored as fat around the midsection, guys. When that happens, then your blood sugar crashes and you start eating, and it is this cycle that you get on. Sugar sponge kind of stops that cycle because it allows for a slower digestion of processed foods. It's non-systemic. There's lots of research on this, and I'm going to get into this next week when I talk to Matt Major. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to break it all down. But I do want to talk about the 6 other things that are also on in the Live Young Healthy Weight Management line, because the reason why I came up with this is because I refuse to give up dessert. So over the years, I've added products, not only for me, but for my clients, because I can coach until I'm blue in the face. But let's be honest, nobody's diet is perfect. Nobody's, not even mine. And I'm a health coach. I have a fasting blood glucose level of 79. You cannot get better than that, you guys. That is the ideal. And I eat cookies. I eat ice cream. It's because I'm strategic in how I do it. And that's what I want to teach you to do. And that's what I want to teach everybody that for craft's sake, says I refuse to give up desserts too. Listen, I know when my clients are lying to me, right? Like, oh no, my diet's spot on. I'm like, really? Okay. Because a lot of things spike our blood glucose level that we would not think would spike our blood glucose level, right? Rice. For some people, rice will spike your blood glucose level. For some, it does not. A banana can spike many people's blood glucose level, and others, it just is flat. So I want to introduce you to a couple other products. The first one I want to talk about is the Ozempic weight loss bundle. Now, if you've tried the weight loss shots and they weren't for you, this might be something that you want to try. If you've tried the weight loss shots and you are at your ideal weight now and you do not know how to get off of them, this is going to be your gateway to getting your metabolic health back and not reducing your metabolism. Because the problem with these weight loss shots, you guys, and it's all gonna come out. The problem with the weight loss shots is that it's very difficult to get off of them because you've already slowed your metabolism down. How have you slowed your metabolism down? You're eating a lot less. A lot of that cuts into muscle. They've been finding that when you're doing the weight loss shots, 50% of the weight that you're losing is muscle. Muscle is calorie burning machines. We need muscle to have a good metabolism. If I was mostly fat, my metabolism is automatically going to be slower because it takes a lot less calories to maintain fat. It takes a lot more calorie intake to maintain muscle mass. So when you are losing weight really rapidly on these weight loss shots, a lot of it is muscle, so that when you get off of them, your body composition has changed in such a way that your metabolism is already going down. Then when you start eating again, like normal, if you get off of them, you start eating again, it takes far less calories for you to maintain that than you did prior to having the weight loss shot. So you've slowed your metabolism down. One of the ways it does this is by those weight loss shots, it slows down the way that your body empties the contents. So it slows the movement down in your digestion. It slows the way that your contents in your stomach get emptied. That is slowing down your metabolism. Sugar sponge, which we just talked about, does not slow your metabolism down. It blocks some of those enzymes early in the digestive process so that it can move further down the digestion, and it's slower to enter the bloodstream. It doesn't slow the mechanical part about digestion. It does not. None of these products do. That is the big difference. You can maintain a healthy metabolism while still decreasing your blood glucose level. Does that make sense? So that was one of them. So in the Ozempic weight loss bundle, we have MetaHealth, which is berberine. This is a really highly researched material, berberine. What it does, it's the same ingredients in many of the weight loss shots, but it helps to lower blood sugar levels. It could cause a little bit of nausea. That's the part of, there's many components in those weight loss shots, but the part that could make you a little bit nauseous. Berberine has a tendency to do that for some people. I take it on a full stomach. In fact, because my sweet tooth comes at night, because my sweet tooth is at night, I take it after my last bit of food that I have. So I'm taking the sugar sponge on my first bite of something sweet, and it doesn't even have to be something sweet, you guys. If you are in metabolic distress, you need to reduce your caloric intake. Your diet is not spot on. It is something that you can take 2 of these before lunch and 2 of them before dinner. It doesn't have to be before sweets, because we already know that the standard American diet sucks, and most people are not eating steamed broccoli and a chicken breast every single day. All right, let's just be honest. That's just not, we aim for that. That's what I coach. That's what I want people to do, but I don't even want to do that, right? Because like I said, life is short. Sugar tastes great. Sometimes we want the piece of cake. Okay, so berberine is something that I take every single night. This is part of why my fasting blood glucose level is at 79, even though I eat cake and cookies and all of that stuff. So love this. The next one is Fiber Lean. This is my best seller, you guys. You're going to see, we're going to do this big switch between protein. It's going to go to fiber, and I've been preaching about it for years. Fiber is our friend. Fiber is great for our gut health. Fiber is great for your metabolism. I took 2 scoops of this. I put it in a cup of water. Let me show you what it does. This was 15 minutes before this started, before I started this show. This is fiber, a soluble fiber that creates a mesh in the lining of the small intestines. And what this does is it does not slow down digestion. It's great for your gut microbiome. It's great because all of us, I would imagine that 90% of you guys listening right now are fiber deficient. We're so worried about getting protein. Guess what? There's no fiber in meat. Zero fiber in meat. Fiber comes from plants. You can only get fiber from plants. So if I'm getting predominantly my protein from plants, I'm probably getting enough fiber. But if you're not predominantly plant-based, you're probably fiber deficient. Let me tell you what this does. This is by far my best seller. And you guys, let me just tell you, because everybody asked about the price of stuff. So before I go on, sugar sponge, hold on one second. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Where was it? Oh yeah. Sugar sponge. You could take 4 capsules daily, up to 4 capsules daily, 2 with lunch, 2 with dinner. This is $68 for 120 capsules. This lasts me way more than a month. So it just depends on how you're using it. Like I said, when I start having my little dairy-free ice cream that I love, or my little cookies that I love. I'll take one or two of these after I start that first initial eating, right? So that's how I will take that. So it's not, this 120 might last you a month, might last you a lot more. But if you do it on an auto ship, it's only $61.20, and you get 15% off for Labor Day through the weekend with Labor Day 15 code. And if you spend over $150, you get free shipping. So I try to make it as economical as possible. With the berberine, with the MetaHealth, this is the berberine, MetaHealth Next Level. This is for the whole bundle, which will be 3 products, which I'll talk about. These 3 products is $225. If you subscribe, it's $202, but that's 3 products. Let me see if I can see. No, I didn't do that. I don't have that on its own, but you can buy these on its own. You don't have to buy it with the whole thing. I want to show you what this unbelievable product does. It's so simple, but it's so effective. This is the Fiber Lean. It is a powder form. It's a little tiny scooper. You don't taste it at all. You put 2 scoops in water. You could even put 1 scoop. Stir it up. 15 minutes later, this is what is happening in your intestines. It creates a mesh that slows down the way that sugar is pulled through your intestines. When I say sugar, you guys, everything is converted into glucose. So I mean anything that you eat gets slowed down with fiber. That's why when you're always thinking about the order in which you eat something, you want to eat all the veggies first, and then you want to go into the protein, and you want to do the healthy fats, and then you want to do the fruit, and then you want to do dessert. By doing it this way, you're starting with that fiber first. If that's not available to you to eat a bunch of vegetables first, do a couple scoops of Fiber Lean. It creates this mesh in the lining of your small intestines that does not slow down your digestion, but it slows down the way that the glucose passes through the lining of the small intestines. And anytime you can slow that down, you're going to have a more stable blood glucose level. You're not going to have those spikes. And look, you're adding to your whole gut microbiome. It's just overall health. So of course, when you're slowing that down, you're not going to get the spike. You're not going to get the crash. You're not going to be on that glucose roller coaster, right? So this is part of that Ozempic weight loss bundle. The next one is the Probiotic Lean. This works specifically with a certain gut microbiome that is absent in people that cannot lose weight. I know. Let me just scroll up, make sure there was no questions real quick. This is going to be a short one. So you take berberine after meals. I take berberine after meals. Yeah. In fact, normally what I do is I take it before bed because the last thing I put in my mouth is usually something sweet. And so before bed, I'll take the MetaHealth is what it's called. And I'll take a Probiotic Lean because I like to have it all in there. And then I top everything off with a good probiotic. Probiotic Lean works. It's with that lactase B420. It's this type of bacteria that is lacking in people who are obese, in people whose gut microbiome is shot, and they have inflammation in the gut, and they can't seem to to lose that weight, that stubborn weight. A lot of that is in our gut, you guys, and our gut dictates a lot of what we eat. If your gut microbiome is off and it's telling you, I need sugar, 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 you're feeding the wrong bugs in there, right? Remember, I eat a ton of vegetables. My HDL, which is that good cholesterol, is through the roof. My doctor said, I've never seen somebody with an HDL that was that good. I'm like, really? In your whole history of being a doctor? And they said, really, in my whole history. So it's not that I'm only eating sugar, okay? It's that I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to give it up. I'm strategic about it. So you take one of these with a capsule of water before bed. It is that strain that's been shown to improve the gut barrier, reduces fat mass, and reduces appetite. Yeah, I know. Okay. And then we talked about the Fiber Lean. So these are the 3 products that are in the Ozempic weight loss bundle. And I bundled them up so that you get them at a reduced price. So it's these 3 products. The Fiber Lean, the MetaHealth, which is berberine, and the Probiotic Lean. Those are the 3 that are in that Ozempic weight loss bundle. A couple more products that I have are Crave Control. This works with neurotransmitters in the brain. I know you guys, this is how dedicated I was and I am to not giving up dessert. I created 6 products so that I don't have to give up dessert. And my metabolism and my metabolic health for a 57-year-old woman is ridiculously good. And I eat cake. So something's working, you guys. Something's working. Crave Control works with neurotransmitters in your brain that helps reduce cravings for sugar, for carbs, and even alcohol. Not kidding. This helped me give up alcohol. Crave Control is $46. If you do an auto subscribe, it's $41. And remember, $150 total gets you free shipping. Everything is on sale right now, Labor Day 15. You put that code in, one word, Labor Day 15. So this contains key amino acids to support the biosynthesis of those neurotransmitters that are responsible for that feel-good stuff, right? So it supports healthy weight by reducing carbohydrate cravings, improves sense of well-being and energy, supports healthy serotonin levels. So it works with those feel-good, light-up, senses in the brain. It's great. This is normally $35. You do it on auto ship, it's $31.60. And it helps with, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Let me see what the Crave Control was. The Crave Control is $46. Subscribe is $41. And yeah, that supports, all of that stuff. That's what I did. Okay. Next one is the Easy Digest. Have you ever eaten a salad or anything and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm bloated. I got this bloat going on. This decreases the bloat because it has key enzymes that work with all 3 phases of digestion. I don't talk about this a lot. I give this to my clients a lot while we're trying to fix their gut microbiome, but I want you to realize that anytime that you're eating a salad, if your stomach feels like instantly full or instantly bloated or gassy or whatever, it is a bigger indication that there is something else going on that we need to address. But that said, this is a short-term fix for that, and then I get in there one-on-one and help you fix it long-term. Okay, so those are the 6 products that are all that have to do with healthy weight management. We talked about them. Sugar Sponge is my latest one. It's a Swedish product. Unbelievable. And I'm going to talk about this next week with Matt Major, and we're going to get into the whole metabolic health on how you want that range. You want to strive to have that blood glucose level within that range that's acceptable, right? And that is what is going to indicate a good metabolic health. So Sugar Sponge, Probiotic Lean, Meta Health, Easy Digest, Crave Control, Fiber Lean, all of it is on sale. Just use code Labor Day 15. I'm going to see if there's any questions. And then I'm going to get off here. Will Easy Digest help with nausea after I eat? Yes, absolutely. Nausea, bloating, indigestion, that feeling of like when you eat and then you get this food baby. If you're getting a food baby and your stomach is upset every time that you eat, for craft's sake, I want you to first think about what's your stress level? Because stress will slow down your digestion. Stress will make you nauseous. That's why a lot of people who get up on stage and, perform in front of all these people throw up first. Your digestion will slow with stress. So I want you to keep an eye on that as well. But absolutely, Easy Digest helps with all 3 phases of those. Okay, let me see if there is anything else. And then I'm going to get off of here early, you guys. I was trying to make it under 30 minutes because it's Labor Day weekend and I am still laboring. So let me just see if there was anything else. Oh, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Jody Beth, Joe Bebo. I keep butchering your handle. Okay, so Kate McKell said, can you use these products pregnant or breastfeeding? Always talk to your doctor. You guys, I'm not a doctor. I'm a gerontologist. I'm a holistic nutrition and health coach. Been doing that for 15 years. I'm a gerontologist. I study the aging process. I'm also a 500-hour yoga instructor. I wear a lot of hats, but I'm not a doctor. So you always, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, always speak to your doctor. Fiber, I'll tell you what will not hurt you at all. You would ask them anything. Sugar sponge is non-systemic. It does not go anywhere through your body. But if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, your baby might need those calories. Don't cut them like that, okay? Fiber Lean, not going to hurt you at all. Everybody needs more fiber. And that is going to it's not going to reduce the calories, but it's going to change your metabolic health in that it creates that mesh in the lining of the small intestines that slows down the way that sugar hits your bloodstream, making you far more stable blood glucose level. Nobody can get hurt by this. This is all great. Everything else, even Probiotic Lean, this isn't going to hurt you at all if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. But for just like anything, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, ask your doctor, okay? Fiber Lean will also help with IBL, can also help with IBS. It could potentially, for craft's sake, make it worse. So you need to really test that out. Irritable bowel syndrome is irritable and unpredictable at times. It just really depends. Still waiting for a second order of Fiber Lean. Okay, wait. At least 1 meal a day, I munch down. So Joby Bo says, at least 1 meal a day, I munch down 3 stalks of celery and some baby carrots. Seems to help with hunger and also weight loss. I was focusing on more protein, but now I have switched to veggies. I'm telling you, you would be surprised on how much protein you can get through veggies. Ask your doctor when was the last time that they treated somebody for low protein. If you live in a country that is not a third world nation and you are eating real food, you are probably not protein deficient. You could be fiber deficient, and that's what we're learning now. Although there's still a lot of social media influencers that are saying protein, 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 protein. You get protein in everything. Did you know that coffee has protein? Do you know that there's only 9 essential amino acids because we make 11 ourselves in our own body? And guess what extra protein gets stored as? Fat. It does not get stored in a way that, I'm going to just hang out here and wait for somebody to engage a muscle and then I'll go there. It doesn't work that way. Protein gets digested in your digestive system. It gets stored as fat. It gets turned into glucose. That's what it is. Okay, you guys, I have one more. I'll be in France for a wedding this time. This is by Joby Joe. I'll be in France for a wedding this time next Saturday, and then Spain. I've been working hard all summer, but I'll be damned if I don't have croissants, chocolate, and gelatos the whole trip. I feel you. I support you in that. I support you in that. You guys, there's only a few food-centric holidays over the years, right? We talk about Thanksgiving, Christmas. There's all of these things that are food, even Labor Day. I bet you if you're going to a Labor Day barbecue or something like that, there's going to be dessert. Life is short. Dessert tastes good. Have your dessert. Just be very strategic about it. And that's what I do, and that's what I'm teaching. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this next Saturday at 12 o'clock on Instagram Live with Matt Major. Remember the code. Just comment the word supplements. Check your DMs. My little robot friend will send you a link with the code Labor Day 15 for 15% off of everything. Keep an eye on that shipping of $150 because shipping is expensive. And once you hit that $150 mark, shipping is free. So it could really bring down the cost of your overall order. And I see people all the time be at that 110 and I'm like, you could have just thrown in another product and you would have got it at a half price because you wouldn't have paid the shipping. So just keep that in mind. Have a great Labor Day, everybody. I'll see you next Saturday. All right.